Welcome back, Santa Clarita Valley. Thank you for the thumbs up, Deputy Josh Dubin from the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station. We're here on your Neighborhood Watch, where twice a month we talk about all things Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station related, crime prevention, community outreach, with my co-host, Deputy Josh Dubin of the Crime Prevention Unit for the Santa Clarita Valley. How are we doing, sir?
How are we doing,
Deputy
sir?
Dubin.
You bought Starbucks this morning.
I did. I returned the favor. One hand washes the other, right? Isn't that the...
I bought Starbucks last week.
You did. You did. And we're going back to back. We're giving people almost too much Neighborhood Watch. I'm worried.
Is that,
you don't want to saturate
is that really possible?
No, you can't. You can't give people too much outreach.
As Kyle Jellings rolls his eyes to the back of his head.
Oh, boy.
Not possible.
Well, at least he's not playing Angry Birds. We have new sound engineer Justin Powell on the boards. Justin, say hi to the Neighborhood Watch crowd.
Hello, Neighborhood Watch crowd. How's it going, Neighborhood Watch crowd?
There you go.
He's got some work to do, don't you think?
I felt like that was like an intercom page in an office building.
It was. It was a little...
Perry Smith,
a little rehearsed,
dial...
a little robotic. We didn't plan that, so come on, Justin.
Perry Smith, dial 4372. Perry Smith, 4372.
Lots to talk about this week. So I saw you were tweeting out about the UFC fight there on your little Twitter account at JDLAST.
Was that a shameless plug?
I'm just kind of curious what's going on with that UFC fight, because I saw some posts, and tweets. I didn't watch it, but it looked like people were a little upset about the length of the ticket there.
Well, it was $60.
Right, which is why I don't buy pay-per-view.
Well,
Sour.
Skipping forward on May 2nd, I will be buying the pay-per-view Mayweather fight.
Oh, that's Mayweather-Pacquiao?
Yeah.
Yeah, wait for that one for a little while, haven't we?
I won't even ask you what your prediction is right now. Let's stand back a moment. So, yeah, the UFC fight. It was all the fights were actually good. I like it. That's a good sporting event. However, the main card, what everybody wanted to see, lasted 14 seconds.
14 seconds.
14
so what
seconds.
happened? Somebody walked up and got decked or choked out?
The challenger came barreling out of the corner
Yeah.
and tried some fanciness, and then the champion flipped her around and grabbed her arm and about ripped it off.
Oh, wow.
Which caused her to tap out in 14 seconds in just enough time to make an Instagram video. So you can see the
entirety of your $60 ticket. Just
on Instagram.
Don't you feel like now, knowing what you know now then, like you could have gone back and just waited a minute and a half for the Instagram?
Well, I mean, the rest of the card was okay. And it was at Staples Center. How could you not watch it? It was local. It was a local.
Over and maybe have some pizza.
I didn't have anybody over.
Okay.
I don't even have
That's
any
sad.
friends.
I'm sorry.
So it was just me. And
just Josh and his big TV.
Yeah. And, it was good.
And also saw you tweeting about Uber data breach.
Yeah.
I know you're pushing Safe Rides Home, and I know you're pushing Uber. So what do you have
It's
to say?
not necessarily
what do you have to say as the unofficial Uber spokesman of the Santa Clarita Valley?
It's not necessarily that I'm pushing Uber. I'm pushing sober rides home.
That's
and
true.
that is just one way of handling it. I'm not saying that a taxi service is bad. I'm just saying that there is other options.
I'm just saying I've never had my data breached by a taxi company. Not once.
That's a good point. But have you ever gone to Target?
Oh, yeah. Okay. They've breached my data.
What about Anthem Blue Cross?
Justin, have you ever had your data breached before? It's quite a violation.
Thank goodness I haven't, but I mean, I did go to Target, so
Yeah. Be on the lookout.
I'm just saying, in today's day and age, sometimes there's data breaches.
Right.
Which our watch deputy asked me to talk about something. Data breach made me think about it. We're getting a lot of calls at the sheriff's station about the IRS calling, saying that you owe tax returns and stuff like that, and you need to send green dot cards. That's a scam.
This is the time of the year where we tell people, please don't give away money over the phone to anybody that doesn't.
If the IRS
legitimate.
calls you on the phone, it's not the IRS.
Yeah, I've never gotten a real call from the IRS.
They'll send you a certified letter saying, "Hey,
Right.
guess what, Perry? When you filed your taxes and you only paid like 2% of your gross income, yeah, we need to have a chat."
Hey, they're all taken away pre-tax. I don't.
Yeah.
That's not true if you're listening, Uncle Sam. And then a few things we want to talk about as far as the city's Lock It or Lose It campaign. We're going to talk about that coming up. The city's also putting on a workshop for positive sports parenting, which I think, it's not necessarily sheriff station outreach, but I think it's a good message to get out there as far as, public safety, which is one of the main topics. Some outreach that the sheriff station has been doing, and also wanted to address a question that came in through social media. One of the reasons why we do this show is to get the message out about public safety, crime prevention, and sheriff station outreach. And so people can follow the sheriff station on Facebook. If you just check out Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station, you see the Facebook page.
Correct.
You kind of gave me a look there.
I didn't give you a look.
Did Justin? Is there a look?
He doesn't have anything to say.
He's playing Angry Birds too. He was trained by Kyle.
I'm enjoying this delicious green tea that you bought.
You're welcome. So you can also follow yourself at SCV Sheriff on Twitter, at JDLASD. But somebody sent us a message and asking us about the homeless sweeps. And what happened, for those that didn't know, is that the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station, in conjunction with city officials and county officials, conducted several operations on. It was a one day thing, right?
Right. Well, the culmination in that particular area was a one-day thing, but this started like 6 or 8 months ago, that many of the deputies from the crime prevention unit, other deputies, we worked really closely with the city, the county, Bridge to Home, a bunch of different services. So we went out a bunch of times to the Santa Clara Riverbed? Is that the appropriate term?
Your ecology and environmental terminology is up to par.
Thank you.
Santa Clara River Wash, yeah.
Is it a wash? Isn't a wash like a basin where water drains?
Now you're asking me science and biology questions. So.
Kyle's head perked up. All right, let's take a break and then we'll talk about this again.
Thank you, Justin. We'll be right back on your Neighborhood Watch, brought to you by All American Vail Bonds on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Welcome back on your Neighborhood Watch. Barry Smith and Deputy Josh Dubin bringing you Santa Clarita Valley public safety information and crime prevention outreach from the sheriff's station.
You're so flustered.
I am,
because you were trying to take a selfie on the commercial break.
Just trying to get the word out. Why are you giving me a hard time?
And then you took
Why do you act like you don't take selfies all the time?
I don't. You took like 12 of them. And then what did you just tell me before we went back?
Because you were giving me a dirty look in the first 7 of them, so I couldn't very well tweet that out. I don't know what your deal is.
Yeah,
all of a sudden you're like selfie issues.
But then you're like, Josh, listen, I can't. I took 12 of them, but I can't use any of them. I don't look good.
That's not
really.
It's not what happened.
Oh,
now this is revisionist history.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So back to the crime prevention outreach and messages that we were getting to, where Josh started telling things that weren't true on the air. The homeless watch situation. I got a question from a Santa Clarita resident on Facebook who was asking, after the sweep of the wash to remove the homeless from the Santa Clara riverbed, a man was found sleeping in one of our neighbors' courtyards in the Valencia South Valley area. What are the sheriff's deputies doing to keep this type of activity from happening after these sweeps? I think it's a good question to find out kind of, is there follow-up? Was the sweep operation a one-time thing? And I know that what you were saying before we went to the break was that, it was part of an ongoing effort, that there was some outreach conducted with county resources as well as the deputies when you guys were going into the wash, right?
Right. And, this started back, like I said, 6-8 months ago. We're offering services, going out, contacting these various people with, Bridge to Home and county services, city services. We have a large group, like a coalition together, going out, talking to these people, offering them, any help that we can. And then finally the day came, which you did a story on hometownstation.com, that we had to get these people. That was a shameless plug. That's fine though. So we had to get these people out because they're illegally camping in that area. So since then, again, still, any services that we can offer or that any of the agencies that we work with are still offering those services. However, it's a tough situation. So.
Right, and I think that's why one of the issues, people use the term sweep, but it's really it's part of an ongoing operation. It's not like you guys are going through there, pushing everything out, and then leaving. It's been
right, and
it's still what's available. There's Bridge to Home. There's a great resource in the Santa Clarita Valley. It's actually closing March 19th. They're doing their final fundraising drive this weekend. We just give them a plug. But yeah, Bridge to Home is the resource that's out there, and there's obviously a lot of services they offer through that. And one of the things deputies were doing was making people aware of those services.
Right, absolutely. And we had Los Angeles County Homeless Services out there and different things like that. So this is still ongoing. We're going to continue to do these types of operations within the city of Santa Clarita and in the county areas. We're working closely with the city. We're moving, it's not just the Valencia area. We're going Canyon Country, all the different areas that within the city.
For people who don't know, the first operation that was, or the first, when was it? It's about 2 weeks ago now.
Was it 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Might have been 3 weeks ago. But that was that focused on one area? Because it seemed like it was a pretty lengthy, you guys were out for a while.
Right. Well, it focused on the area kind of by the William S. Hart baseball field, moving back into the Bridgeport area, moving back towards, Bouquet Canyon, Soledad Canyon, the main junction there that we have. So it was a large scale area, but we kind of focused on that area. Then next we're going to be moving to the Canyon Country area. So, again, if you see criminal activity or if you see, somebody sleeping on your front porch, obviously give us a call at the sheriff's station and we will come out. We've had a few incidents like that. One was at an apartment complex. One was at the post office. So, again, we're trying to do our best. Obviously, the answer is not just to go lock everybody up in jail, obviously. We're trying to do our best, to offer resources. And still, enforce the law.
Because you're not those concerns.
Right. You're not going to be camping here illegally anymore. So we're enforcing the law. We're trying to offer the resources. So we're asking. Obviously, we're trying to cooperation with the community and everyone.
And so, if somebody does have something, there is the city app, but they could also contact the sheriff's station directly.
Yeah, of course.
It's 661-255-1121. If somebody sees some illegal activity, obviously they're encouraged. 911, an emergency situation, obviously, but
right.
Go ahead and call the station at 255-1121 if you have any questions or concerns.
We've gotten some strange 911 calls lately too.
Can we talk about
that? Yeah,
this?
the watch deputy asked me to talk about it. 911.
Outstanding.
Sorry.
I do know. I'm not trying to point light at people, but I was just reading an article on BuzzFeed. It's just like people who didn't understand how Walmart's Facebook page works. Can
I back up? Is BuzzFeed a real news source?
No.
Is it like The Onion?
No. What they do, they're somewhere in between. They're somewhere in between because they take social media stuff and they basically, it's just a feed of just random stories, just things are interested in, things you click, things that go viral.
But is it real stories?
Am I right, Justin? You check out BuzzFeed.
Is it real stories though?
Yeah. Yeah, well, here where I was going with that before I kind of got sidetracked is that this story was 23 people who didn't understand how Walmart's Facebook page works, and so basically it's just people posting things that it's like, why would you post that on Walmart's Facebook page? Like, Justin, did you see that? You're smiling and laughing. Oh, it was pretty classic. One of them was like, "Where's the corn?" in like all caps, like they were asking the Facebook page, and it's just like when people just don't understand the basics of how things work, but then they try to engage on it, the results can be amusing, and that's why one of the reasons why we do this show, right? Like to let people know how they can communicate, so they don't just start posting things like, I'm upset about this on the sheriff's station Facebook. It's like, well, you can call somebody and interact with them.
Well, and the reason why I bring up the 911 system is because obviously there's a certain number of 911 operators that answer the calls. There's not an infinite number of them. That we have a certain number of them, and there's a certain number of 911 lines. So if you're calling 911 to ask questions like, "What's the phone number to City Hall?"
Oh boy.
What's the phone number to Animal Control?
Oh boy.
My cat is stuck in the tree. I'm trying to think of some other ones that we got. We have the business.
That's not an emergent situation.
Right. And we have a business line. We'll be more than happy to answer those questions on the normal 255-1121 number. But the watch deputy asked me to bring that up because lately, for some reason, we've gotten a good amount of calls that are not necessarily emergency in nature.
Where's the line? Here's a question for you. Where's the line between swatting and just someone having no clue what's going on in the world and asking those kind of, you know what I mean? On an emergency line, a question that obviously is just not an emergency.
Well, when I think of swatting, I think of...
Am I using the wrong term?
Yeah, I think so, because I think of I would call 911 and say, "Hey, I'm Perry Smith and I'm being held hostage. Come to my house."
So that's more of a false report
That's like a straight false report, which is a crime. Sometimes maybe people don't know, but again, that's part of what we use this show for, is to get the word out. So 911, obviously emergency for fire, medical, police, emergency. And then the rest calls on the business line. We'll be more than happy to.
That's 255-1121. Right. All right, well, we have to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back on your Neighborhood Watch, brought to you by All American Bail Bonds on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.